What is going on? We are officially live. Cheers. I'm drinking some Gosling's Diet Ginger Beer because I love ginger beer and diet's the way to go. Trying to watch my figure here. But how's everybody doing? This is actually, I think, the earliest by far I've ever done a live video. Usually I do them pretty late at night. And I think this is awesome to have this, accessibility to doing the live streams. It's so easily accessible through the phone. I love the live, interaction. Daniel B, what's up? That instant interaction. What's going on? How's everybody doing today on this Sunday fun day? It is freezing here in New Jersey. And I have to get a new TV. My TV just stopped working, and I looked up online. I have a Panasonic. Panasonic I always thought was good. Used to have an old TV for like 15 years, Panasonic, and I think it's still going. I left it over at my parents' place years ago, but this one, it's ginger beer. It's non-alcoholic. But my Panasonic TV just stopped working. I was in the middle of watching a movie, went completely black. I thought maybe the power went out or something, and then apparently it's like this 14 red flashes down like the little power, little red dot thing. I looked up online. It's like a common or known issue with Panasonic plasma. So I'm going to get the 4K TV. I was using my roommates whenever I needed to watch anything 4K for review wise or anything like that. So it's time to get the 4K TV. I was like, well, that's a sign. It's time. I was kind of putting it off. I heard there's going to be possibly like new like software and all kinds of stuff. So I was trying to wait a little bit, but now it's time. So I'm gonna get a new 4K TV and player, and I'm looking at different options. So I need your guys' advice on what player to get and what TV to get. I know the Oppo is like the top of the line. That's like almost $600 though for the 4K player, and I think they just announced that they're closing down production. So they'll still do like software updates and stuff like that. But let's actually go upstairs, turn off lights because I'm fiscally responsible, and yeah, I'm actually debating about what one to get because there's so many different varieties. Like, as far as the players and TVs, like I don't think I'm gonna get too cheap a one. I know there's ones at like Best Buy, Insignia brand, like 55-inch for I don't know $400 or something like that. Of course, I locked myself out of my room. Make sure I don't spill my diet ginger beer. All right, let's turn on some lights in this piece. Yeah, I looked at the one Oppo you can get 4K region free for Blu-rays, DVDs, but that one is like 800 and something, almost $900. So I'm like, what the heck? Um, so yeah, that's the TV behind me that just crapped out. If you can see the 14 little power flashes right there, it's like a known issue. I looked it up online. Hold on, let me scroll through the comments. What's up, Joe? Drinking already. Live intervention. I rarely drink actually. When I do like a beer review on here, it's usually like one of the few times I ever drink, and I haven't done one in a while. Nice. That is ballin' right there. Samsung 78-inch 4K region free player. What 4K region free player do you have? And how much was it? The things that I'm looking at, like the 4K, the players are almost as expensive as the TV. LG are the best range for 4K TVs in Canada. That is, I don't know about the States. I've heard, there's so many conflicting things for, I'm reading reviews online for some of the LG TVs and players. Well, I know 4K is region free, but the Blu-rays and DVDs are not. So that's a duh. 4K Cinema HD. But yeah, the one Oppo, it says it's region free for Blu-rays and DVDs too. But I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be manufactured or not, because I was reading some reviews and they said it might not be held up to warranty through Oppo for the Blu-rays and DVD aspect of it being region free. But that player was like almost $900. And I know Oppo's like top of the line, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to pay that much for it. The regular Oppo, the 203, was like 550, I think. What up, homie? Logan G. Yeah, 4K Cinema HD. What's up? I assume he was talking about like a region free all format compatible. I'm not sure. Yeah, man, let me know. we're not too far away, right? You're in the city, so it's doable for sure. I have a Sony 4K 3D region free. Oh, it's not bad. 3D. Now, does it play? I mean, I assume it plays regular Blu-rays region free as well. What is your opinion on streaming boxes? I really haven't checked out any of the streaming boxes myself, so I'm not too familiar. I mean, I do Netflix, that's about it. But that's one of the things why I am physical media because Netflix just recently they were announcing for April. I checked out all the different stuff they dropped, and apparently they're dropping so much more stuff. It's a lot of TV shows, and they're really like focusing more on Netflix originals, which I get, which is totally cool. But um, a lot of Netflix originals don't even have physical media releases, but a lot of the old stuff that they're getting rid of. I mean, some of my favorite movies and shows they're getting rid of. So that's one of the things I like. I'll definitely always hold on to physical media for that reason. And I don't think physical media will ever be fully phased out for movies. I think streaming will be the dominant thing. But even like vinyl records, they're having a huge comeback, sale wise, popularity rise. And I think it's just gonna be one of those things where physical media will be like limited. It'll be like to like you know how Twilight Time, Code Red, they do like limited to 3,000 releases, something like that. But bigger studios like Warner Brothers, Lionsgate, they'll probably do like limited to 100,000, and it might be a little bit more money. Like Vestron Video, those kind of ones, they're a little bit more money than the regular Blu-rays, and still they do well. A lot of that stuff sells out. So I think that's always going to be the case. Not everybody is into that, but there's enough people to make it a market. Didn't make the Blu-ray jump until 2015, so don't see myself. That's all right. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, I thought I was gonna wait until I don't. I think it was like next year. I heard that they're gonna do some kind of I can't remember what the heck new adapters or software or format something. I can't remember what it was now, but it's time. It is time because I can't go without a TV. I mean, I have the TV downstairs, but and then I don't want to bother my roommate with watching their TV, so. I need a good beer to drink. Recommend me a good stout besides Guinness. I'm not a big stout guy personally. It's heavy, and I'm an IPA guy. Um, but what was the? I like the what was the chocolate love stout. That was pretty good. There was is the Sweet Baby Jesus, is that a porter stout? I can't remember now. Sweet Baby Jesus is good too though. But a lot of those ones are really heavy and rich. I like IPAs. I like that bitter bite. But yeah, so I'm trying to get, looking through all the reviews and stuff. Thanks, man, Movie Matt. I always love that the way that you have that set up with the at symbol for Movie Matt. I think that was ingenious. Brett Wood, what up, homie? But yeah, so I'm just debating about what TV to get. Like I said, Best Buy had like Insignia brand, which I guess is their brand for a 55 inch for like $400. That's a great deal. But then again, I don't want to cheap out on it. This plasma one that I had here from Panasonic, which is a name brand, really good brand for the most part. I didn't have it for that long, so I want something to last. I feel like they don't make electronics these days to last. Like every iPhone I've ever had, like 2 years, it starts having battery issues. So. I want to buy something that's gonna last for the player and TV. Uh, yeah, LG is. Like, see, that's one of the things I was looking at LG because I think LG is good for price and quality. But there was a review for like their player, and a lot of people were complaining about it because of the noise that it makes. And there was like apparently demos and stuff for it. But I guess the TVs are still good, so I might look at an LG TV because I think they're reasonably priced too. I was looking at Sharp. Sharp had a really good priced one, but I don't know. It's funny. All the reviews are so conflicting. Like there's a lot of people praising it, a lot of people complaining. So that's one of the things I want to look more into it. And I wanted to say too, did any of you guys hear about the YouTube headquarters shooting thing last week? That kind of blew my mind a little bit. I would have assumed for the YouTube headquarters that they would have had like security, and I was finding out it was like a female shooter, and she was upset about her videos not getting the views that they used to, and thinking that YouTube was like suppressing her views. I think it's just the way there's so many people I used to see back in the day that were like super popular on YouTube and then didn't get like a tenth of their views. Heck, even my videos used to get like 10 times as many views than they do now. But what can you do? It's you can't really unless you're like super super huge, getting like a million views of video, you can't really rely on YouTube as your main source of income. I think it's a little silly to do that, and it takes so much time and effort. Like I checked out some of those the videos that that lady was posting, who's the YouTube shooter, and the videos were just not good quality or content. But it was kind of it's one of those things where I don't think taking away the guns is the issue. I think it's more an issue of mental health. Like all these shooters have mental health issues. Like I remember the one kid from California. They showed some of his videos on YouTube. Like just watching like a few seconds of the video, you knew that guy was out of his mind. He had like some issues with like girls rejecting him, and I was just like the way that he was handling it, and it was just mind blowing. Like that's the thing. Like, if these guys had like just, I don't know the whole process for gun ownership. I don't own a gun personally, but like I feel like there should be, besides the background check, there should be some mental health thing, like an interview, like a quick like 5-10 minute interview. I feel like these people would instantly not be allowed to. It's just mind blowing. But yeah, that's the thing too. It's just mental health is such a huge state of an issue essentially. I think for a long time it wasn't really looked at as deeply as it is now, but that's, I think that's the main thing. Like again, taking away the guns I don't think is going to be the issue. I think it's mental health awareness. All these people's like that lady who was the shooter at YouTube, her family was talking about, that they knew that she was going to do something. There's all these signs. I think that's one of the things. It's like the old the 9/11 thing. You see something, say something. The same thing with mental health. If you see something or hear something, do something, say something, tell somebody, for their own benefit and the safety of others. I think that is the biggest issue. There needs to be a movement towards that, like there was for terrorism back in the day, and still to this day. But I think it has to have that same kind of awareness. And I feel like that's the thing too. You don't see too many female school shooters, but yeah, I mean, it seemed mind blowing when I was younger. Like, what was the old one? Was like late '60s, early '70s was the Texas University tower shooter, and then there was Columbine. There's like a huge gap, and then Columbine was '99, I think. I remember right after that happened, like in school, there was like, it was just a craziness. Everybody was like freaked out, and then there was like a lull, and then there's the Virginia Tech shooter. There's a whole, and then now since then there's just been so many. It seems like every other week there's some kind of shooter. So what up? Let me go through the comments now. I kind of went off on a rant and tangent. The OLED, okay. Elliot Roger was the kid. I don't. Yeah, Elliot something. I think. Yeah, but just showing his, like I saw some of his videos, it was just mind blowing. You could tell that guy was, mentally off the wall. Um, I still haven't checked out Terrifier. I loved All Hallows Eve. Art the Clown, I think, is the creepiest clown in horror movie history, so I'm looking forward to it. I will be checking it out as soon as I get the TV working, or a new TV actually. Well, wasn't the son of Sam a shooter? He was a shooter, but he wasn't like a. It was more of like a serial killer. He was going around at different times. The school, like when I think of like school shooters or any kind of shooters in like a public area, it's like a one mass shooting thing. Um, but yeah, it's mind blowing. It's crazy. It was just okay. That's a bummer to hear. Uh, the YouTube shooting is pretty shocking. I mean, it shows to how far people are willing to go over the regulation and mess demonetization. Yeah, at first when I saw like there was a shooting, I was just joking in my head. I was like, oh, Logan Paul, he got mad that they took away his money. Just a joke in my head. I don't even follow that guy. I just knew about it because other YouTubers were talking about it. But I don't think that girl was hot though. She wasn't bad looking. I saw some of her doing like the crunches and stuff. I was like, all right, she's got a nice body, but she had the crazy eyes. uh, there's like I remember How I Met Your Mother used to have the crazy hot scale, but she didn't. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, whatever. I wouldn't kick her out of bed per se, but she definitely looked like crazy for sure. Like you couldn't get too serious and break things off. You'll get your tires slashed and service merchandise. I don't know if they have that around here. If you don't mind sharing, what do you do for your career? I've had that question so many times. I'm basically just going to say I work in sales. That's just the easy answer. I've worked in some form of like sales or retail sales for so long now. It's the bane of my existence, but it pays the bills for now. Hello, Jay. Just saw the last night and the Void and Last Shift. I love the Last Shift and Void. I think the Void was one of the more popular horror movies of last year. It was probably my favorite movie of last year. But the Last Shift, I feel like it's so underrated, so creepy and atmospheric. I think I've been meaning to do that for a while, do another top 10 underrated horror movies on Blu-ray list, and the Last Shift will definitely be on there. And I keep seeing like tons of lists for underrated horror movies, and there's recently I'm part of a Facebook group called Cult Horror. I don't know what the group is, something like Cult Horror. And somebody made a post on there like underrated horror movies. And these people, it just blows my mind when I see these videos, these lists, And if you think like Maniac, Sleepaway Camp, They Live, Pumpkinhead, Candyman, if you think those movies are underrated, you're out of touch with reality and the horror community, because those are some of the most mainstream, popular horror movies out there. Like Suspiria is one of the most famous international horror movies. I mean, like I see these lists and it just blows my mind. I'm like, how do you think this is an underrated movie? It's so mainstream and popular. You got to talk about things that people don't really talk about, that aren't so mainstream and popular, to be underrated. Um, I don't know, Pumpkinhead. Come on, They Live, Suspiria. I mean, those are so well known and popular. Sleepaway Camp. I remember when I did a contest a while ago. I was like, for the rules was like, leave me a comment letting me know an underrated slasher movie, and so many people said like Maniac and Sleepaway Camp. I was shocked. Like those are, to me, two of the more popular horror movies out there. I watched an Australian movie called Body Melt. I've not seen Body Melt, but I have heard of it. I think I remember seeing like the slipcover for it before. I don't know if it was Umbrella that released it. I can't remember the company that released it, but I remember the slipcover for it, and I've heard about it. Um, I've heard of a Baitor as well. I think it was called. In fact, I might have been offered a screen link for it, and I don't think I ended up watching it. Um, Yeah, you're completely right. 4K Cinema HD about the media drop of the YouTube shooter because it didn't fit the agenda. I was thinking about that too. That first day I heard about it, and then after that, it basically fell off the radar. So it was kind of shocking. Yes, the Killer Clowns. I definitely plan to get it. I'm big on the Killer Clowns. It's one of my all-time favorite movies out there. One of the earliest horror movies I ever watched too. Like the earlier ones, I'd say like second or third horror movie I ever watched. I believe the first was the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Johnny Depp getting sucked through the bed, the blood splatter. But Killer Clowns, I remember it freaked me out as a kid, and looking back on it now, obviously it's not scary. It's fun, cheesy horror fun. I still love it though. And in fact, I got a poster recently signed up, and I'll be showing that in a video. I got to get framed still. Um, yeah, I know this is actually this is the earliest I've ever done a live stream before. Hold on, I totally feel like I missed some comments here. Uh, Dragon's Milk. Okay, cool. Did Still Smoking come out in blue? I don't think so. Just scrolling through. Did you catch the trailer for Hereditary? No, I have not, but I do like A24. A24, people go a little bit overboard with A24. I think they have a lot of unique, inventive ideas. I don't think all their movies are great. In fact, some of the movies that people love, like was a Ghost Story, I wasn't a fan of. I like the concept, but I don't think it really translated, and at times seemed a little bit goofy. Like that's one of the things I appreciate though for them as a studio, is the fact that they're trying unique ideas, even though they don't always work for me personally. I love a lot of their films, but not all of them. Um, Scrolling through, I haven't seen Psychos in Love. That's another one I know of. I haven't seen Quiet Place yet, but I do want to check out Quiet Place. Quiet Place kind of reminds me of this movie that I feel like is absolutely underrated because I never hear anybody talk about it. What's it called? The Hidden. It was recent. It was a DVD only released through Warner Brothers. I gotta organize my collection. Holy moly, I can't ever find anything. That's something that's I gotta do soon. I need to get a stud finder, so I can pick myself up. No, I'm just kidding. But the IKEA bookcases, I tried to drill through the wall for just like the wall mounts that they provided, and it did nothing. It just like came immediately out of the wall. I couldn't find the stud, so I gotta get a stud finder so I can properly do that. Then once I do that, I will organize the collection. I got these new little display things right here, stands for some of the signed DVDs. I got them off of eBay for cheap. And I put some of the stuff up there. And then I was putting all the TVs seasons. I got more over here, more in another room, Blu-rays seasons. I got to get another rack. I want to separate the TV shows. That's another thing too. What do you guys think I think I asked this before. I might do a whole separate video. I did one years ago about it. But how do you guys separate your collection? Do you combine DVDs and Blu-rays? And then like I was thinking about like, should I separate like musical stuff like live performances? Should I separate stand-up comedy because I have a bunch of stand-up comedy? Should I separate like sports stuff because I have a lot of like wrestling DVDs and football and baseball stuff? And then I have horror separated for sure because that's my favorite genre. I have the most of it. And then I have like certain companies separated, like Arrow Video, Criterion Collection, Twilight Time. Digibooks and Steelbooks are separated. But besides that, I don't think I'm going to separate anything else genre-wise. But I was thinking about possibly separating stand-up comedy and like sports, which I put like UFC and wrestling into sports, and then TV shows separately too. But I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you put Blu-rays and DVDs and 4Ks and the same stuff? Like right now, I have my 4Ks separated too. But yeah, I'll go ahead and do kind of a collection overview because people always like to see that stuff. But it has horror DVDs. I've upgraded the majority of my horror DVDs, so this is not as much as it normally is. But A Quiet Place reminds me of the movie. I think it was called The Hidden. It. I feel like that was such an underrated movie. I don't know where the heck it is. I would show it. I talked about it a couple times before in the past, but done so many videos that I don't know if it would be probably difficult to find. Yeah, I don't know where the heck it is over here. Somewhere over here, I have a movie called. I'm pretty sure it's called The Hidden. My memory is terrible. I've not been sleeping too well lately, but I don't know where the heck it is. I need to do that underrated horror movies list, because that would make it for sure. But yeah, it's over there somewhere. But it reminded me somewhat of the plot of A Quiet Place, and some regular DVDs over here, some special editions stuff, and then Blu-rays, Blu-rays, some 4Ks. I've got more 4Ks in the other room. And I am going to probably be, I was debating about it. It's going to be a little bit of a sad time. I'm letting go of the comic books. I was going to keep some, but I think I'm going to get rid of them all, except for maybe like a handful. But I'm going to get rid of some of the ones that I was going to save, like New Mutants 98, the first appearance of Deadpool. I showed that in a video recently, and some of the other stuff, more key issue stuff. But I also think I'm going to get rid of these old baseball cards that I have. They're tobacco cards from 1909 to 1911. Like, this is a Hall of Famer, Frank Chance. Very good 3. This is like, I would consider a $300 card. It's centered nicely. I think there's one on eBay for the PSA 3 for $249, but it's not as nice as this one. It's the centering is off, so I would value that like a $300 card. And I've got Addy Joss. I got a few Hall of Famers and stuff in here. McGraw, Chief Bender, Native American player. There's a 5, which is obviously hard to get, but it's a miscut, as you can see down there. But I've had those tobacco cards for a while. I've done a couple of videos on them. I want to do another video on it, but I think I'm going to let them go too. Put it towards the fund of getting a new TV and player. And here's the rest of the collection in here, the office area, as I like to call it, which is all the bus sets I have up there, except for Caesar in the corner. And then I've got Criterion's, Eureka, Twilight Time, Disney, which I don't have a ton of Disney, like, I don't know, maybe 60 or so. So I'm probably going to integrate Disney into the regular Blu-rays. And then obstructed from view are Blu-ray TV shows and seasons. And then Steelbooks, Digibooks, Arrow Video. I've got more Arrow Video in the other room. And somewhere over here, too, I've got like Stack. And I've got, Stacks stuff over there. And then here's the horror Blu-ray. There's a stack of Criterion over there. The majority of the horror Blu-ray collection right here. Some over here, some different collectibles stuff, box sets. I gotta find the Ken Burns baseball DVD set that I have. I don't know where the heck I have that. Might still have that over at my parents' place. I'm not sure. Here's a Home Alone promo suitcase thing. Been meaning to do a video for that for a long time, but that's pretty rare. But yeah, so, and then there's the Wonder Years Locker Tin, which I have another one of those, so I will be selling that one. But again, I'm trying to get like $200 out of it. It usually goes for around $300. There's 2 different variations. There's a cardboard one, and that's the metal one. The metal one is obviously the rarer of the 2. But here's some comics and stuff. There's the New Mutants 98, first appearance of Deadpool. There's a beautiful X-Men 49 Steranko cover, first Polaris. Here's Avengers, the first new Ant-Man, Scott Lang. The death of Thunderbird, X-Men 95. I don't know, some of the first Ninjak. I don't know, a bunch of different stuff in here. First Bloodshot. The Ghost, which is going to be in the new Ant-Man Wasp movie. I don't know, a whole bunch of different stuff in here. So I'm going to get rid of all that for sure. I've had a lot of offers on the comic books, but then a lot of those people like disappear. So yeah, if you're interested in the comic books, for sure, shoot me a message. Again, the tobacco cards, I'm gonna get rid of all of those too. So I would love to get rid of them all at once. I don't know if that's possible. I know there's a few Max Jackson. There's a few people who followed me initially because of those. Holy moly! I didn't even see you on here, and I literally just mentioned your name, and then you popped up. Awesome, cool. Yeah, I don't necessarily want to get rid of them, but I need to get a new TV, new player. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, it's one of those things right there. Maybe one day I'll get back into it, but for now, you make some choices. And I'm gonna let rid of the comics, go the comics, and then the tobacco cards too, T206s. Um, I think the Frank Chance 3, nice and centered. Oh, there's a secret tobacco card group. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, I think I've got a couple. I mean, my Addy Joss is pretty beat up, but Addy Joss, I feel like kind of hard to come by in good condition, at least from what I looked. I was looking for a while for a good Addy Joss. Um, yeah, absolutely for sure. I mean, I. It's funny I mentioned you. I didn't even notice you were on here and you popped up. Yeah, because I had a few people like when I made those videos back in the day. Like a few people started following me because of that. So that's pretty cool. I still check out videos of that every now and then too. So for sure, I'll let you know about that. I'll message you on it. Hold on, let me scroll through. Yeah, I was going through here. I didn't get a chance to look at anybody's comments yet. So let me go back to see. I've missed a lot of comments. I apologize. Yes, I have seen the movie Kill List. I do enjoy it. I like those kind of cult movies. I think the same director did another movie that was kind of trippy. Uh, Something weird. I don't know, it had something to do with, I want to say it had to do with like time travel or something like The Goon or some kind of weird name like that. What's up, A Band of Parts? Cheers from Des Moines, Iowa. Cool. Spring break. I hope you're enjoying it. No joke. Mentally ill guy broke into a house in my old town. 3 a.m. Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry to hear that. Unfortunately, yeah, I remember one time going to the diner and there's this lady like just talking to herself. It was scary just to see that, because it's alarming. It's something that you don't normally see in everyday life. So I remember just thinking like, should we get her help? And then I think she just ended up leaving. But yeah, I think if you see something and see people acting irrationally, you should try to get them help for other people's safety as well as their own. Hope you're good. Jess Goy, what's up? Jess Edits. I haven't checked out A Quiet Place, but I definitely plan to. There's a very good recent horror movie. I have seen A Dark Song. I haven't talked about it, but I meant to do a review for it. I loved the movie up until the ending, and then it became like Thor. It became like a Marvel comic book movie at the end. Uh, Dark Song. Hello, Jaroslav, Real Steel. I do drink whiskey. I enjoy whiskey. I haven't really drank too much alcohol recently. I want to actually start doing videos about getting back in shape. Got a little bit chubbier again. I want to lose some poundage for sure. Uh, he claimed he watched Little Nicky and Punisher Warzone. No, you can't. You can't blame people. Have been doing that for forever, blaming movies and video games and music. You can't blame that on that. It's just crazy. Slightly personal, no need to answer. I noticed your girlfriend hasn't been in any videos. We broke up like ages ago now. I've been seeing other people that might appear in videos. So I definitely feel like at this point, I feel like I'm gonna try to be a little bit pickier with who I date now too. I feel like the older you get, and when I was younger, I was definitely a little bit wilder and just didn't really, you know, I was a little bit looser with it. But now I feel like, I don't really want to waste as much time. I want to make sure the person's right for me and if I could see a future and stuff like that. So yeah, no, we broke up a while ago now. It feels like to me, maybe not to you guys, but I actually have more videos with her, which I'm still gonna post because I don't know. I feel like some people like. I remember there was a girl I was seeing. She's like, "You have pictures of your ex on Facebook. You should delete them immediately." I'm like, "Nah, it's part of." Some people, a lot of people do that. Like a lot of people, like they'll break up with somebody and then they'll like deactivate their Facebook until they start seeing somebody new. I'm like, I don't really care for. It's part of that my time. It's part of history of my life essentially. I'm not gonna block that out if it was good or bad. If whoever you're seeing, you're gonna have good moments, bad moments, but it's just part of it. So yeah, I'm gonna upload some videos from that I didn't upload or edit and upload with her in them. So don't be surprised to see. It doesn't mean we're back together. I mean, I figured one of them's like a Halloween related one, so you should know that the timeline for that. But a lot of people don't piece it together. But yeah, I'm pretty open with just about everything. So yeah, I'm with you on the opinion underrated movies. Yeah, the underrated movies thing blows my mind when I see people do lists and videos. Like the majority of the things that I like, 99% of those lists that I see, they mention like the most mainstream popular horror movies out there. I've watched The Thing yet. I've watched the original 2000. Yeah, I was actually just talking about how I organized my collection. The John Carpenter's The Thing is to me the quintessential one. The recent pre-make one is what I call it. It was essentially a remake with a prequel ending tacked on. I didn't think it was terrible. It just made me want to watch John Carpenter's one. The characters weren't as engaging or as interesting as John Carpenter's one. I saw The Hidden in Nightmares 3 in the theaters as a double feature. Nice. Yeah, you got the 42nd Street. You're definitely blessed to have that there for sure. Ordered my movies in. You order your movies in sexual order. You're an interesting character for sure. I'm drinking some Coronas. I'm not a big Corona fan, but I mean, I feel like looking back on the beers that I used to drink, I remember like in college, like Bud Light. Everybody used to drink Bud Light. Now I look back, I'm like, how was I drinking that swill? I've become like a beer snob in a way. Like there's just so many craft breweries out there. Like every town has a craft brewery now. It's like 20 years ago there weren't any sushi spots. Now like every town has a few sushi spots. So, um, how much does a new TV cost? I'm not sure. I mean, like I'm looking at a whole bunch of different ones, so I'm trying to decide which one to get. I'm just having an issue because there's so many conflicting reviews. So I'm trying to get people who, on here that actually have 4K TVs and what they would recommend. Like there's a bunch of cheaper models, but I don't want to cheap out. Like this Panasonic at the time wasn't cheap, but it didn't last as long as I was hoping. But I don't think that's the thing with electronics. They don't make most of them last that long. Uh, why you're not a? Yeah, really, I'm not a gamer. I haven't played video games in a long time, but I used to play when I was younger. I just never really got into it past like PS2. I remember Blockbuster, those wrestling exercise movies with special interest. Yes, I do. In fact, I remember when I worked at Sam Goody, I was a assistant manager and manager trainee, and there used to be like a special interest category where we'd have like yoga and like naked yoga, and there'd be like this like I remember one time we caught this homeless guy stealing like the naked yoga DVDs. But yeah, that was actually crazy working at that Sam Goody because we were in New Brunswick, New Jersey, right across from the train station. People would literally steal movies and try to catch the train. It was insanity. In fact, there was somebody who worked at a hospital right down the street, and they were wearing their hospital like clothing while they stole a PS2. It was just, I think the majority of criminals in general are idiots. So, I'm still catching up to the comments, so forgive me. Um, I'm like one of those few people that didn't like Little Miss Sunshine. I thought it was just a little creepy, and I don't know. It didn't resonate with me personally, but I know a lot of people enjoy it. Um, what's up with this Zanny, Zarek, and Skinslip always banning people? I don't know. I haven't really checked out either one of their videos in a while. Um, Skinslip, I for some reason I thought he stopped making videos. Ginger beer. But I know Zanny Zirak. He was one of those guys that used to be like super huge in the movie community, and I feel like I don't know if he took a time off or what, but I know the same thing. Like I feel like his views definitely went down in comparison to his subscriber numbers. Same with me too, though. Have you ever checked out The Foreigner yet? With Jackie Chan? No, I haven't, but I plan to. I heard good things about that actually. Um, Jess Goy says, I need to lose weight too. I will when the world ends. That's hilarious. Yeah, I definitely I want to get back in shape for sure. That's something my for a while my diet consisted of pizza, beer, ice cream, and sushi. That was like the main four food groups. So I don't drink as much anymore. I still love pizza. It's gonna be hard to say no to. But I think another thing is portion control. Um, I think that's just one of those things that I need to work on personally and get back into playing basketball. That was one of the things when I was younger. I was skinny. I was scrawny for the majority of my life because I was always out playing sports, doing something physically active. But now, I'm not a morning person. When I'm done with work, I'm just drained. So it's one of those things I got to get into a routine. I'm a man of routine for sure. Hey man, what's the best edition to get of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre? There's so many. It's funny because I remember every time a new edition comes out, I was like, oh, this is the best edition. Then another one comes out. The recent was I don't know if it's Dark Sky that put it. No, Dark Sky put out the other one. They might have put out the recent one too. Whatever the recent anniversary edition, I thought looked amazing. But the same thing about Basket Case. I thought the Basket Case the older Blu-ray looked amazing too. And then Arrow Video put out their one, which I thought looked fantastic. I like it when movies are better than the. I don't know what you're talking about. Thrashed fingers. It's funny. There is a tennis court down the road for me, but I don't really play tennis. When I was younger, my parents took me to a tennis camp and essentially dropped me off for the summer. I hated it. Basketball and football were my games. I remember playing baseball in high school, and I actually ended up quitting because I felt like baseball the practices were more grueling than football and basketball for me. And our basketball was a lot of like running and drills and stuff like that. Football, like it was football for me was for high school was like if you went to practice, you were on the team. Didn't necessarily mean you got playing time. But baseball just it was so grueling. And the coach was a jerk, so I ended up quitting baseball, but never really got into tennis. Philips 4K TV. About a Lupin. Uh, I don't know what that is. Checking out WrestleMania tonight? No. I'm not really too into wrestling these days, but I do have a lot of like wrestling DVDs from like the '90s, the Attitude Era, that kind of stuff I was into. Early 2000s. Isn't it early to be drinking? It's non-alcoholic. I've already covered that. I think like people just assume I'm an alcoholic because I do beer reviews occasionally. I don't know when the last time I even did a beer review is, but I think you guys are getting a glimpse into my life, but like less than 1% of my day. When I do those beer reviews, they're like a 5 minute thing, and I don't drink in excess. I did when I was younger in college, but now I rarely ever drink, and that was the ginger beer is non-alcoholic. Uh oh, there's a little. Come on, no commenting back and forth. All right, cool. You guys squashed that. All right, good. Yeah, actually, it's funny. Somebody said they love my movie setup. I hate my movie setup right now. It's so disorganized and chaotic. I definitely want to fix that. But I get the stud finder so I can put the wall mounts in because some of the IKEA bookcases are leaning forward a little bit. And I tried putting in the wall mount in without the finding the stud, and it just came. The nail came right out. So that didn't. I drilled it in, still nothing. So I got to find the stud for sure and make sure it's adhered there and with the wall mounts because then I want to organize because I haven't alphabetized everything yet and I'm still debating out how to properly organize everything, separating certain genres and companies and formats. I'm looking for a 4K TV. I'm still trying to figure it out. Again, there's so many different ones out there in the market, and a lot of the reviews are conflicting. So I'm just trying to figure that out. I want to get one by this coming. So essentially, I want to get within a week. That is the goal to get a new 4K player and TV by next weekend. So uh, it's Sunday. Any time is perfect for a cold one. Come on, cheers! Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is early here, but again, I know I'm more of a social drinker. I was just never really one of those guys that after work came home and had a drink. I was more hanging out with the boys, essentially catching a game, especially during football season. That's the majority. When we go out to watch a game, or stay in and watch a game, or play poker or something like that. But yeah, I'm drinking. I love ginger beer. I love ginger in general, ginger candy. But Gosling's Diet Ginger Beer. It's non-alcoholic and diet, so no sugar. So 0 calories, zero everything on here. So I love ginger. It's just freaking amazing. I could just rub it all over my body. It's amazing. Love it. So yeah, my Panasonic plasma TV just decided to crap out and just stop in the middle of watching a movie. And there's like this 14 blink thing, which apparently, if you look it up, it's a known issue with Panasonic. And I guess I don't know if it's just for plasma or if it was for several of their brands, but or models. But yeah, so that's a thing, and I don't know if I can. I would love. It's a nice looking TV. It's a Viera plasma. So I don't know if like any of the parts can be salvageable because I don't know for sure. I was just reading online, and that's just kind of conjecture because you don't know until you get it checked out. And I don't really want to pay for. I'm going to get a new 4K TV, so I don't want to pay to get it checked out. But I want to see if I can sell it for parts or even just to get anything out of it. But I did see the stand. I don't know if it because it fits for different. I need a dust. Don't judge me.
I'm OCD with having certain things in certain places, but I don't dust, and I'm OCD about like cleaning stuff, but I don't dust. But yeah, the stand essentially is, I guess, where a lot of the money is, because I saw when I was looking it up that people are selling just the stand for like $65 on eBay and Amazon merchant sellers. So I am assuming that stand goes for other models too, because that seems expensive for a TV stand. Like it's just a very simple base where it goes in. And that's another thing too. I don't know. Should I wall mount the 4K player? I know the person that lived here before had a wall mount. You can see it right there, so I know where to put it essentially. But scrolling through, yeah, organized my movies by awesomeness. Absolutely. There's not too many TV shows that I'm into. I still watch The Walking Dead. I think I was about to give up on it, but the last few episodes have actually been pretty good. So it's for a while though it was just dragging, and they killed off a lot of characters that I cared about, and the pacing was inconsistent, and it felt like a lot of filler episodes. But it's the last few episodes have been pretty good, so I'm into that. Stranger Things, I'm waiting to get back on for Netflix. Netflix is killing it with their stuff. 13 Reasons Why, I binge watched that. I love that. Big Bang Theory, I love it, but I never know when it's on. And I did watch the new episode of Roseanne, I guess the first two new episodes, and I did enjoy that, so I might keep up with that because there's a lot of nostalgia for me when it was on back in the day. But besides that, there's not a lot of TV shows I really enjoy. Like I watch, sports and stuff. Baseball, football, basketball, the big American three. Occasionally I'll check out hockey. But let's see. I agree with you on relationships. I'm Eurasian. If you aren't feeling it, yeah, absolutely. Like, I had a lot of fun back in college. I was in better shape. I was essentially 100 pounds skinnier when I was in college, and I did well for myself back in those days. I look back in the pictures, and I just think of the memories. Like, I remember I would have girls cross the street to come ask for my number back in the day. I was like, those were the days. But then at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I'm not that way anymore, not in that good of a shape because I was living a different lifestyle back then. So probably for the best. But yeah, that's one of the things too. At this age, I'm looking for something more serious, and there's certain things that I'm not big into traveling. Every girl, like if you go to dating sites, every girl now lists hiking, traveling. I'm like, you know, I like going to stand comedy shows. I like going out to restaurants and stuff like that. But I love, watching movies is a big passion of mine. Going to certain sporting events and stuff like that, conventions. But yeah, as far as, I can go for a light hike. I don't want to, I know the Polish chick. She goes to hikes a lot, and she goes to hikes for like hours and just kind of those hikes don't seem as much fun to me, grueling and yeah. And again, I traveled so much growing up that I don't know. I'm just not too into that now. Like it's funny if I have like vacation time, I will go to like a local hotel and just hang out and go to like the hot tub that they have, and that's like my idea of a vacation. Like you know what I mean? So I don't know. I just traveled so much growing up. Again, I lived in Germany for 4.5 years as a kid. I lived all over the U.S. I was born in Texas. Moved 17 times by the time I was 17. I think I moved total like 30 times in my life, and that's some of them were in the same town or a couple towns away kind of deal, but still a lot of traveling when I was younger. So thank you, I appreciate that, Jessica. That's very sweet of you to say. Right back at you, DJ Donnelly. What's up? In the movie Dumb and Dumber was the line, "I don't know, Lloyd." Yeah. I don't know, but that's pretty funny. I love Dumb and Dumber for me. That's one of the classic comedy movies. Absolutely love that one. Such quotable. I think the toilet scene, the X-Lax scene, that one always cracks me up. I've seen it so many times, but it still like brings me to tears laughing at it. Murdersville, I love that name. Bad luck with the TV. My Panasonic Plasma is still going strong. See, that's why I went with Panasonic because I had another Panasonic TV before that, which I think is still working. It's 15-year-old TV. I mean I left it over at my parents' place, so I don't know if it actually still is, but it worked for such a long time. So that's why I went with that brand in particular. But now after this and reading all the things on it about it online being a known issue, now I don't think I can go with Panasonic now. Hopefully it will last next year when I move to the UK to Canada. That's a big move, man. What makes you move from the UK to Canada? I'm curious on that. Psycho 18C Is the cable connected to the back of the TV? I think so. Yeah. I unplugged everything, made sure it wasn't that power outlet. I put it in different. The TV plugged it into a different outlet and plugged everything in, so it's not the. It's a known issue. Like I can't even for the Blu-ray player. The Blu-ray player won't even like connect to the TV. Like nothing. I can't do anything with it. It's just like that little power thing blinks 14 times. If you look up Panasonic 14 times blinking or something like that, there's a big thread on there. Yeah, no, Dumb and Dumber 2 was straight garbage. And then there was like Dumber and Dumber. That was straight garbage too. Yeah, no, they just sometimes you just can't recreate the same magic. And a lot of times it's like forced. And a lot of times when they do these sequels, it's like 20 years later, you've missed the opportunity to cash in. The might have different writers. I don't know the whole deal, but yeah, it didn't have that same magic at all. Uh, yes, it was. It did have apps and stuff like that. Yes, it was a smart TV. Yeah, definitely not a new Panasonic TV after this. Yeah, no, I already did the unplugging thing. Yeah, that's what I feel like electronics in general. They just don't make them to last anymore. Like the iPhone, I still use iPhone because I love it, but it's one of those things. Like every iPhone I've had like 5 iPhones, and they after like the 2 year mark, they all start having battery issues. Like if I were to, before I could go to work for like 8 hours and my phone would still be working, but then after like year two, if I don't charge it within like a couple hours, like it will start dying. Samsung's good, yeah. I'm still looking like I'm checking all the reviews. I want to make a completely educated decision for my player and TV as far as what to get for 4K. The Oppo is like the top of the line, but again, you're paying so much for it. I would love to get a region free across the board. Obviously, 4Ks are region free, but Blu-ray and DVD for getting region free for that as well. I don't know if I should get a separate player or what. Because if you get the Oppo that's region free all across the board like that for every format, it's like almost $900. You get the regular Oppo 2 or 3, I think it's like 550 for the 4K standalone. And I know they're closing down shop, but they're still going to have like updates and stuff like that, firmware, all that good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. There's such a wide range. Best Buy's got their brands, Insignia, and those ones are cheap as heck. And then somebody was saying TCL actually uses like Samsung parts or something like that. So even though it's like, kind of an off brand, that they're actually pretty good. So, but I want to, I don't want to get something that's going to crap out. That's the thing. This Panasonic was a lesson learned. So I want something that will last long. And, so I'm willing to shell out the extra bucks for it essentially, but not too ridiculous. But, sequels, remakes in the films nearly always bomb. Yeah, I mean, there's a few exceptions, but yeah, the majority I would agree with. The new theatrical edition of Neon Genesis. I'm not familiar with. I know of it, but I haven't checked it out. I always hate sequels of the films. Yeah, I mean, again, there's a few exceptions, of course, but yeah, obviously. I have an IRT 60-inch smart TV going on 9 years now. Oh, and Dayawood 48. Wow. No, I don't. That's if it's still again. I don't know. It depends on when you bought them. Like I feel like older models, like back in the. By the end of next weekend, I plan to have purchased a new 4K player. Did the stream die? I hope not. I'm still talking. Can you guys see me? Somebody asked if the stream died. I felt like before when I was moving, it did stall a couple times. So I don't know if it's the connection or what, but it's back on. All right. Sorry. Oh, it went off for a second. Yeah, I don't know if it has to, because for me, I don't see any issue in the phone. But before, when I was in the other room, like I noticed it like stuck for a second. So I don't know if it's my phone. I don't think it's the phone. I think it's more the connection. But yeah, so new 4K player in TV, and where did I put my beverage here? Had it over there. I'm like talking to you guys. It's over here. But yeah, so expect a video for that within a week or so of the new 4K player and TV, and then I gotta go through the calibration settings and all that good stuff. I'm trying to get as informed as possible before I make my purchase. Um, you know, I'm looking at a lot of like mid-tier stuff as far as price-wise. So that's what's going on. So if you guys have a 4K player and TV, let me know. Your experience and what you think is the best. And also too, I see there's this is one thing I always find interesting. There's like 20 something people in here, but only 10 thumbs up. So if you're watching and you haven't given me a thumbs up, give me a thumbs up. I hate to ask that because I don't know. I feel like it's kind of generic to ask and kind of cliche, but it helps get more exposure. That's the only thing. So, and I like talking on here. I've met a lot of cool people and found out a lot of information and found some new movies. So I think it's awesome to get that cycle going. And I do want to say, there's a few people I wanted to shout out. Blu-ray Rad, who's a channel in Canada, awesome channel. It's a couple. They do videos. They haven't done one in a little bit, but they're still worth checking out. There's somebody else I wanted to shout out. Now I can't remember who, but I've been meaning to shout out Blu-ray Rad for a while now. There's a guy in, I think he's in the UK. He does a lot of Bronson related videos. He's good, good quality stuff too. But I do want to do. I used to do like a video series, which was like shout out of the week. I want to bring that back as well because there's so many awesome people on here. So many new, like every day I see new people on here that I'm not familiar with. So many deserving people who don't have a lot of subscribers and deserve more. So people put out better quality than me. So I do want to. A bit parched, talking like a mile a minute here, like the old was it Micro Machine guy. But yeah, I do want to do more like straight up movie reviews coming in the future. That's something I've wanted to gear towards more. I'll do some beer reviews here and there and some vlogs. I love doing these live streams and Blu-ray updates, of course. But I want to do like more legit movie reviews. I'm gonna plan to do one for this movie called Demon House, which I hated that movie so much. But I want to do a video for it. Oh, but I will be going off this live stream now because I just got the notification the battery's about to die. Womp womp womp. But that's the thing too. I guess it's the iPhone battery issue already, and this is the 7S, and I only got it like a year ago. So there's that. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And leave me comments and suggestions for 4K players and TVs because I appreciate it. And yeah, Max Jackson, you said you messaged me on Facebook, so I'll check that out for sure. And thank you again for tuning in. I love doing these live streams. I plan to do a lot more of them. So thank you guys. Enjoy your Sunday fun day and take care.